Hey everybody, Red Mage here. Welcome back to the series where I go through different RPG products that I have and give them a quick flip through and review. This one I'm going to be going through 3 books that are all basically just different parts of the same system, which is the Star Borg game by J.P. Coovert and Kyle Latino. This is compatible with Mork Borg, and it is a take on the regular Mork Borg rules, but for a not Star Wars style game. If you know JP's work, you know the art is incredible, and these books are no exception. They're absolutely fantastic. I really like these. I got these over on his website. You can get each of them individually for about $6 in PDF. As a collection, they're only $15 in PDF form. You can get them in print for $30 as a whole set, and they're really worth it. I'm very happy that I have these. I want to get them in print form. I have them in PDF, as you can see. They're great, though. The style, the layout, the art throughout is really engaging. It has the sort of, not punk, so it's punky in one sense. It fits with the idea of Mork Borg in that the whole page is colored interestingly, and there's stuff, the font choices are unique and they stand out and all of that there, but you don't get the bright pinks and the really weird grotesque art of Mork Borg at all. This is clearly in the realm of Star Wars with JP's art style, which is just a delight. If you know the Mork Borg system, then this is just a take on that, and it's compatible with it. So if you have monsters that you want to use from that game or mechanics that you want to port over, you could just bring them in to this. But you have everything you need in these books. This is the Rebel Handbook. I'm also going to be going through the GM guide and the solo rules. All three books, well, they all come together in one pack, and you get a few other pages too. But they're all 3 worth it. You can get them individually. But I would recommend getting all 3 because, well, first of all, the Rebel book, as you'll see, has all the rules you need to make characters. The GM guide has a ton of cool monsters and a ton of cool tables, and then the solo book has also tons and tons of tables as well that you can use in a solo game, but you could also use to generate adventures and things for a regular game. I love the writing too. It's tons and tons of references. I mean, the whole thing is just Star Wars. It's just not Star Wars, right? It's like a Star Wars with an asterisk next to it or something like that. Star Borg. The stars are at war. The sinister Galactic Legion has deployed its armada of destroyer ships to every populated star system. Its foot soldiers trample upon the flags of every capital supercity. The Senate of 1 billion worlds has been abolished and replaced with dreadful interstellar martial law. The remnants of the wise and once powerful Magi Knights have been hunted to near extinction by the Legion's indomitable dragoons. Rumors swirl that their new, terrifying superweapons are nearing completion. Hope is nearly gone. However, the meager spark of rebellion is catching. In dozens of remote systems, brave souls pledge their lives to fight back against the tyranny of the Galactic Legion. Some fight to save their own planets, some to save their own skins, and some fight desperately for the freedom of all. But these intrepid rebels cannot win without you. Save the galaxy or die trying. The characters are called rebels throughout this book. That's, instead of saying PCs or characters, the language is rebels. How to become a rebel. You can get a standard character sheet. You get it if you buy the whole pack together, but you can get individually character sheets, and they're pretty cool looking. They look like a kind of panel layout. You roll bits and bobs. Do you have bits or not? Do you have money or not? Right? And then bobs, you start with 3d6 items, and then you might start with a rebel ship. Maybe not, though. I love this little flowchart here. Roll bits and bobs. Choose or roll d6 for a character class. Roll abilities. Roll hit points and destiny points. Choose or roll galactic species and rebel motivation. Save the galaxy. Now, one of the things I really like about this is the way that the classes are laid out. Each of the classes gets its own 2-page spread. It's really beautiful. This one's really bright and loud, but each of them is kind of a cool design. Each class is obviously quite different, and I think it's really cool that they each contribute differently to your abilities. So, for example, bots are metal, so they roll 3d6 for hit points instead of the standard set of hit point rules. They don't roll species, because you're a bot, and you roll 3d6 minus 2 for agility, as opposed to just straight 3d6. So the different abilities are generated, different stats and parts of your character are generated differently depending upon your class or species, really just the class. So that's really cool, and you also get some functions and malfunctions and modifications, and each of them has a different set of things that they get. it's not just the same class, or, you know, you don't get very much. So it's a pretty rules light game. You're gonna still be kind of, you know, not a whole lot of character sheet solutions, but everybody gets a few things that makes them really interesting. And so even for something like a bot here, the malfunctions are kind of fun. Another character can make a DR12 knowledge check or knowing check to fix the malfunction until it triggers again. DR8 for mechanics. And some of them are interesting. So exterminate. When you roll 2 blunders in a row, rush to attack a random individual within sight. I would want to play basically HK-47, if you guys know that character from Knights of the Old Republic. HK-47 is one of the best characters in the Star Wars extended universe. Or the, what do they call it, the Legacy universe now, I guess. He's great. But you get bots, bounty hunters, magi knights, smugglers, technicians, and youngsters. Each of those get their own set of abilities, knocks, nicks, and knacks, for example, for the youngster. You're just going to get one of each of these. They have 4 destiny points, or D4 instead of D2. Destiny points are essentially things you can use to make your character a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit situational, basically advantage or disadvantage to an enemy, things like that. Do max damage on an attack. Give yourself an easier time to complete some very difficult task. Something like that. So this book, although again I haven't gone through the whole thing, I've gone through much of it, is quite cool. The whole thing is only 15 pages in spread form, so it's not that big of a PDF. But again, you get all 3 if you buy them in a pack for $15, and I think that's definitely worth it for the overall presentation and the amount of effort that went into these books. I'm going to quickly go through the GM's guide here. I've already jumped right to the very end, but I'm going to jump forward. I just love the art there. Look at that. The evil emperor, you have a flump, more or less, or something like that. And those are definitely not clone troopers or stormtroopers. Those are definitely not. You have a quick reference rule here, and you get a bunch of really cool tables in this book. So you have the galactic species, and there's some really funny ones. So the baseline human, the woolly anthrosquatch, you know, 3 guesses as to what kind of creature that might be, right? There's some really funny ones here too. The rattling ambo, the avian caldecta, the horned thurny, the cerebral ruthin, the bantam cluku. The names almost sound Star Wars-ish, right? The rules are super simple, by the way. They're very, very simple. This is an easy game to pick up and to play. If you have any interest at all in Star Wars, then this is absolutely fantastic. D6 damn fool idealistic crusades, right? I mean, all these tables are just references to Star Wars. You have the planet gun, of course, the bot mind overlord, the anti-space circuit, the doomsday engine, the magi harvester, and the pan-galactic teleporter. These are all really cool things that the rebels need to destroy, right? The planet gun makes sense, but the others are all very interesting campaigns, right? I think you could imagine them as very, very interesting campaigns. And then you've got some urgent obstacles, things that are going to get in the way of that crusade. Some mishaps, some space obstacles, space travel mishaps. There's rules for ships, by the way, in the primary Rebel Handbook. And they're very simple rules for ships, but they actually have, what I think is really cool, different roles that each of the players can take on the ship. So you can be the pilot, you can be the gunner, etc., the engineer, right, the repair guy. And you can make some checks to try to help the ship out in space combat. Enemy morale, and then some creatures. And that's what much of this book is creatures and then tables for generating bosses and planets and things like that. Here you go, the Dragoons, the legendary Dragoon. Hunting magi across the galaxy. They know how they think. They have their powers. They're definitely not Sith Lords. Don't even worry about it. And you can roll D8 Dragoon names. Trajan, Fowl of the Beheader, or Tragan. Manus, Giant, the Strangler. Gigas, Noldo, the Ripper. X66, the Bot. Ba, Plague, the Corrupter. Maros, Hound, the Traitor. Scion, the Clandestine. And Lord Commander Vortex. Lord Commander Vortex is my favorite of those names. I would definitely use Lord Commander Vortex in one of these games. You can see the stats are super simple. Hit points, morale, armor, sword, and that's it. I think maybe some extra abilities there sometimes. They're elite, so DR8, DR14 instead of regular 12 to defend against them. They're a little harder to defend against. It seems like it's mostly, well, it is just player facing, so the players are rolling everything, attacks and defenses and all that, which is interesting. I haven't really done much in the way of player facing games where everything is rolled by the players. Yeah, I think it's cool. Scum and Villains, the elite bounty hunter with D8 bounty hunter names: Harkin the Red, Graven, Boris Deadlock, Ragna Nebula, Cassandra Psycho, Scob, Scotch Torga, and H3O. Space Pirates. I love this. I really, really love this. Crime Lords. This is great. Definitely not Gamorreans, and definitely not Jabba the Hutt. Crime Lords, vile and heartless, they set their criminal schemes in motion for the safety of their secluded strongholds. They're pretty frail, all things considered, with 18 hit points and only protection shield, tier 2, minus D4. Hidden blaster, though, they got a D6. But they're going to have a lot of, dudes around them, bodyguards, and it's going to be hard to get to the Crime Lord. Man, this just makes me kind of want to play like Knights of the Old Republic again. Ooh, space monstrosities, alien beasts. This is so cool. Slavering, territorial, and hungry. Of course, this is definitely not the Rancor. Right? I mean, you can just tell this is a loving homage, shall we say, to the Star Wars world. And I love this stuff, man. I love this. Really quickly going to go through some of the Starborg solo rules here. This is also by Kyle Latino, JP Coovert, and Perplexing Ruins. The rules for the solo game seem cool. I'm not a big solo game player, so when I saw this, I was mostly interested in the tables, the Oracle tables and the Spark tables, and of course, just the various, tables for generating planets and NPCs and things like that. How to play the game with the core rules. Again, I'm not going to go into the solo rules so much because that's just not my area of expertise. I don't really know how they compare to other solo games. I haven't played tons of solo games. I played like 4 Against Darkness and Colossal, but that's pretty much the extent of my solo game playing. Really, this is, once you get to the solo tools, this is what I really like. The Affirmation Oracle. But you get, degree size tables here, weather tables, NPC reaction tables, crit tables, plunder tables, event Oracle tables, which is basically just a Spark table. You just roll on that for descriptions or activities or omens, subjects or verbs. It's really helpful when you're trying to generate an adventure or something like that. Here is the Epic, the Damn Fool Idealistic Crusades, the episode that you're generating and the mission in particular, the opening scenes. Again, these are all things that you could use to generate ideas for your game. And so I would say, if you're going to get Starborg, if you're going to get the Rebel Handbook and the GM Guide, then I would say get the whole package and get the solo games too, just because you can throw in all of those extra tools. The NPC tables alone, right? Travel tables and NPC names and things like that. Really useful. Really, really useful. Again, so this one, the solo rules are 13 pages. The GM Guide is 13 pages in spread form. And the Rebel Handbook is 15 pages in spread form. So between the 3 of them, I think you get more than enough bang for your buck. JP's work is so good, and these are really no exception. I found these so delightful to read through. And, unlike a lot of other times I've read through Mork Borg related rule sets, this one really struck me. I have so many games to play, but this makes me want to run Starborg. Just reading through them once, and I'm like, ooh, man, I want to run this game. So maybe I'll do a one-shot for my nephews or something like that. And I have a feeling that once we play one game, we'll probably play a whole bunch. Because this looks really simple, easy to play, jump right in, and it's so delightful. Star Wars is one of my favorite things. All right, guys, well, this has been Starborg. Hope it's been interesting to everybody. I'll put a link below to JP's page where you can pick it up if you're interested in it, both in print and in PDF. All right, see you all in another video.